So before I move, I had like all of my testing stuff packed up, but I thought before I pack up the office completely, there are two things I really want to teach everybody. One of which is the Presidium, and that's like a $350 device. So that, may not be of value to everyone. So I'm going to do, I don't know if it's just me, but I had the hardest time finding a way to do specific gravity without a bunch of fancy equipment or crazy formulas. And everything I saw, whether it be YouTube or in writing or my AI assistant, it was all so complicated. And it's amazing because it turns out to be really simple. So, when you look at characteristics of mineral specimens, these are what you're going to use to identify. There's a whole host of them. One of them is specific gravity, which is a very useful tool. And between hardness, specific gravity, looking at the mineral under a jeweler's loupe, magnifying glass, microscope, you can derive or discern some features that also help as far as like luster, especially cleavage and breakage. So that's kind of another category, but this is a non-destructive method, which is great. If you have a really pretty stone or rock that you do not want to scratch, this is an amazing tool. So along with the observations that you're going to see, looking, feeling, touching, analyzing, this is a way to narrow down the field of possibilities. So here we go. Okay. I can't even believe it. Like literally, I don't know if it's just me or what, but it took me 2.5 years to figure this out. So I hope it's helpful for all of you as well. I'm going to pause real quick so that I don't waste too much time and get set up. So here's what you need. Tape, Scotch tape, especially lighter specimens. I have used the industrial tape for heavier ones. You're going to need a scale. So that's going to be probably your biggest investment. You really should have a scale no matter what if you're doing anything in gemology and mineralogy. And like one of them is out of batteries. It was maybe $15. This one might have been, I don't know, $25. So not a huge investment. And then you need containers. And the container you use depends on how big your specimen is. Because the key is you have to be able to hold the specimen with the tape underwater without the specimen touching the bottom or sides of the container. So we're going to do a couple different things. We're going to do a small one and a large one. Distilled water is preferable, but I mean, okay, so this is not going to be like dead on perfect. We don't have like the crazy scales and balance stuff, but it's really helpful to get you in the range. And distilled water is what you're supposed to use. I have used tap water, but here we go. And so you don't have to measure anything. So that's the first thing. I had beakers and all these measurements and what have you, and that turns out not to be necessary. For the bigger ones, I'm going to use this simply because it's easier for you to see what's happening. Because it's that clear color. So we'll fill this up. Whoops. Okay. I kind of made a mess. And again, the amount of water is irrelevant. And I did make a mess. So I'm going to move this. All right. Well, it'll dry. So again, water amount is irrelevant. You just want it high enough to where you can dip your rock in it without touching the bottom or the sides. Next, you're going to take your specimen. Maybe I should write out the formula. nah, let's just do this. So let's see. We're going to start with something small on this one. Let's see. Okay, another nice thing is to have reference rocks. So it's good to have reference rocks for testing hardness, which we're going to get more into before I have to give up my office here in like a day or two. Some of these I bought. Like I bought this calcite from Geofossil here in Colorado Springs. Great place. I got this black moonstone. And some really useful ones are opal. I got these. And so I use all of this. I got some fluorite, feldspar. I have quartz, which is the 7. And I usually have apatite, pretty small specimen here. But so I use these for hardness testing. And these are great to have for specific gravity calculations because you can sort of test your work, right? So, for instance, we know this is opal. So when we do the specific gravity of this, it should be about 5.5 to 6, etc. So let's start with a known rock and see what happens. That's usually a good way to start out. Let's take fluorite. Oh. Here's fluorite. Fluorite is a hardness of 4 on the Mohs scale. It's an index mineral for hardness testing. The specific gravity, which is basically the same as density, is, I want to say it's 3.98. Is that right? Or no, it's 3. It's 3 to 3.3. I'll double check, but I think it's 3 to 3.3. Okay. Now what you do, first step, you weigh your specimen. So we're going to take this fluorite in grams. So it's always in grams. And here's what's cool. Your measurements aren't going to matter as long as you use grams when you weigh. I don't really understand it because I'm not a mathematician, but essentially the units go away. So as long as you're using grams, it's a nice, easy ratio without a lot of complexity. So here we go. 16.9 grams. Let's see, I got to write that down. Because this is all I could find because I'm moving. I did this. 16.9 grams. Next, this is super important. You need to, okay, we're going to take our water. I'm going to put it right on here. And this is critical. Once you put the water in the container on the scale, you want to zero it out. To do that, you hit this T button, tare. And I don't know if you can see this. See, it's 0.0. Yep. So do that. Okay, now we're going to use the handy Scotch tape. Oh, there's kind of some weird stuff on it. So here's what we do. We get a piece of Scotch tape, like so. And we're going to put the fluorite on it. Tape it to it, kind of like this, right? Well, it can get tricky, I'm not going to lie. I should have used something flatter, but this is the most cumbersome part. Some people like wrap a string around things. I find this to be easiest. So let's see what happens. All right, again, we're still tare at 0. I've got my fluorite in the tape. Now here's what you do. I like to just do it at the top like this, right? So now I've got my dangling fluorite. Sometimes if you have like, I've put something across the top before that I can hang it off of, like even gem holders, but I'm just going to use my hands here. Let's see how accurate I can get it. So you take it. Now we're going to hold it in the water. All right, so it's completely submerged, but it's not touching the bottom or the sides. That's the key. So I'm going to look at the grams I'm getting. It seems 5.4 is what I'm seeing the most. 5.4 grams, okay? Write that down. So I noted this as, I don't know, you can use different acronyms or letters, but I said the weight, just the weight of the stone was 16.9 grams, specimen on scale. Weight in water was 5.4 grams. Okay, this is just gonna, I don't know, freaked me out that it's this easy. So now all we do, done with that, is calculate. We are going to take 16.9 grams divided by 5.4 grams. I'm going to get a calculator. $16.9 divided by 5.4 equals, and look at that. Right on the money. I said it was 3 to 3.3, and look what we got. If you round up, 3.13. So that was an accurate test. See how easy that is? The weight of the rock. The weight of the rock in water, again, suspended with tape. Most important thing is when you put the water on the scale, make sure and zero it out with this tare button. That is the key. I don't know if you can see that. That's really the key for doing this accurately. So let's do another one. So that was our test, and it worked. So that's really exciting. Yay! Should I do a separate video or just keep going? I don't want this to be too long. Okay, I'll do a specimen that I am unsure of next. Now that we know this works. You know, I've shown you successfully. So we're going to stop here. This is going to be the first of the specific gravity segment. So again, we tested fluorite. We got our little handy math, the weight of the rock on the scale in grams, the weight in water when suspending it, hanging it on the water, fully submerged without touching the sides or bottoms. We got 5.4 grams, and then you just divide the top number by the bottom number, and that is your specific gravity. Let me write it on here. And because we used a known stone, I know that it's accurate. All right, so I'm going to test some other stones that I have not positively identified, and we're going to use the specific gravity for that. And then we will get into some hardness testing, and probably the microscope and presidium is going to have to wait for a couple weeks till I moved into my new place. So I hope you found this beneficial, because this was a game changer for me. We're going to try a couple more ones that I don't know and kind of go through that identification process next. And I am going to make playlists so that it kind of separates out the different videos. It makes it easier for you. And so this series will be under mineral identification testing. The specific gravity series will be there. So here's step one. Just want you to see how easy and simple it is. And again, we will do a couple more kind of known stones, some that I'm not totally sure of, and see how this helps in identification. Hope this helped you a lot. Please subscribe. You'll get a ton of great information, and I have a lot of extra resources to share with you. And as a subscriber, you have unlimited access to all of my reference documents, all of my how-tos, I mean, cheat sheets, you name it. Basically 3 years worth of full-time study. I'm a certified gemologist, so I have a lot of materials through that professional affiliation in my coursework that's not public that I'm going to share with you. So all of the documents I've custom created over time from USGS, MNDAT, all the best, most credible sources, put them together and kind of just like the best of highlights, overviews, every mineral you can think of. So all of that you have access to. You just tell me what you're interested in. I'll hook you up, and all you have to do is subscribe. So click that black button at the bottom right, and that's all you got to do. I would recommend maybe emailing me or sending me a message on Facebook at Manifest Minerals afterward, just to kind of open the lines of communication, and then we can kind of start our one-on-one relationship and get you set up with the materials and guidance you're looking for. So this is Micki B, certified gemologist and your Colorado Crystal Connection and Mineral Mentor for free, showing you how to easily do specific gravity. I love it when I can rhyme. All right, guys. Click subscribe, give me the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And as always, rock on.